presents Center Stage.
You're watching Center Stage with Rahul Kanwal.
Good evening and welcome. At this time, there's an emergency meeting taking place in Mumbai. The BJP is flirting with Raj Thackeray. Shiv Sena is fuming Rajiv Rudy in a desperate attempt to do damage control. Is there a threat to the longest standing ally that the BJP has had? Is there a threat to the BJP Shiv Sena alliance? Is our top focus on Center Stage tonight.
Maha heartburn in saffron camp turns into a BJP headache. Irked by BJP's infidelity, Uddhav asks Modi to choose his Sena. Is the BJP Sena alliance in danger?
There is a deep strain in the relationship between the BJP and the Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray has made it abundantly clear that he's not taking lightly the overtures that Nitin Gadkari and others in the BJP have been making towards Raj Thackeray. He is literally telling the BJP to choose its Sena, saying, if you continue this dalliance with Raj Thackeray, I will not accept it. We'll focus on that story. Also on the show this evening, 4 full days have passed since the time an airline plane just went missing. There's a massive search operation, but no hard evidence has been found. Where could a modern, safe airline have disappeared in the 21st century when we have so much high-tech solutions available, there's so much satellite imagery available? Where did this plane suddenly fall off the map? That story at 9:30 p.m. this evening. Let's get started. These are the headlines that have taken Center Stage tonight. 16 Jawans killed in the year's deadliest ambush by Maoists in Sukma Bastar border in Chhattisgarh. Was today's devastating attack another colossal intelligence failure? Headlines today reveals that the Home Ministry and Chhattisgarh was specifically warned by top security officers. Rahul compares Modi to Hitler in his own turf, says India doesn't need a watchman. Major setback for Mamata Banerjee. Muslim clerics gun for Anna Mamata alliance. Call Anna an RSS stooge. Refused to attend Didi's Delhi rally. It's a headlines today impact after we highlighted the plight of a 5-month-old baby living in a makeshift incubator after being turned down by hospitals. Wadia Hospital takes in the infant. Shiv Sena Chief Uddhav Thackeray has made his displeasure known to the BJP over its overtures to the MNS. Even as BJP leaders rush to Mumbai to placate Uddhav, an emergency meeting is on at this time. The Sena boss made it abundantly clear that the BJP cannot hope to do business with his party as well as with the MNS. And he said it's time for Modi to choose his Sena.
राज ठाकरे ने जो बात कही है उसके लिए हम उनके आभारी हैं और निश्चित रूप से उन्होंने जो कहा उसके लिए मैं उनके आभार व्यक्त करता हूं.
It was this remark from Gadkari that added fuel to the Sena fire. Already upset over Gadkari's meeting with Raj Thackeray, Uddhav's anger boiled over when the MNS declared that it would fight against the Shiv Sena but still support Narendra Modi as Prime Minister. The Sena boss feels that the BJP is unofficially supporting his estranged cousin.
केवळ सरकार स्थापन करण्याच्या इराद्याने निवडणूक लढणार असाल तर तसं एकदा स्पष्ट करा आणि मग गरज पडली तर काँग्रेसचाही पाठिंबा आम्हाला चालेल असं जर असेल तर तेही स्पष्ट करा. असे माझे 2 महत्त्वाचे प्रश्न आहेत.
The BJP clearly knows that Uddhav is angry and it sent emissaries to placate the Shiv Sena chief.
देखिए, मैंने आज स्वयं शिवसेना के प्रमुख उद्धव जी ठाकरे इनकी भेंट ली है. उनको बहुत स्पष्ट शब्दों में मैंने हमारी भूमिका उनके सामने रखी है. भारतीय जनता पार्टी शिवसेना को अपना सबसे नैसर्गिक और पुराना मित्र मानती है और शिवसेना के साथ ही हम चुनाव लड़ने वाले हैं.
Uddhav has refrained from stretching the matter too far in public, instead directing his ire at Raj Thackeray for offering his support when no one asked for it. However, sources say Sena leaders worry that the BJP may not work hard to ensure the Shiv Sena victory wherever the MNS is contesting.
Uddhav Thackeray's questions to the BJP is seen as a veiled threat by the Shiv Sena. Though the BJP is now trying to bury the hatchet and move ahead, the lack of trust created between the two allies at this crucial juncture may affect their performance in Maharashtra. With camera person Mahesh More, Kamlesh Tutar in Mumbai for Headlines Today.
Is the BJP being very unfair to its longest standing ally by flirting with Raj Thackeray? Joining us on Center Stage tonight, senior leader of the Shiv Sena, Bharat Kumar Raut. Also with us from Mumbai, BJP leader Shaina NC. Girish Kuber is the editor of Lok Satta, one of the most respected journalists in Mumbai. I want to go across first to Shaina NC, because at a time when clearly at Mr. Modi's behest, the BJP is flirting with Raj Thackeray, much to the annoyance of Uddhav. And you know all these dramatis persona very well and very personally, Shaina. Is this not unfair to Uddhav Thackeray, the man who's been rock solid with the party that's been rock solid with the BJP through thick, through thin, through all the problems that other parties have had with the BJP? The Shiv Sena has always been there. Is this not very unfair to the Shiv Sena, Shaina?
Rahul, I think your assessment is absolutely incorrect and factually also incorrect. Please understand that the BJP's alliance is clearly with the Shiv Sena and the RPI. Our longest, most loyal partners have been the Shiv Sena, and we have been in an alliance in not just the state but in NDA in the first tenure as well. And we hope.
So are you saying that there is no problem at all with Uddhav Thackeray? Then what is this emergency meeting about? Why is Rajiv Rudi meeting Uddhav Thackeray as we bring our viewers this broadcast this evening, trying to do desperate damage control? Shaina, please say things which our viewers understand and believe. Don't take them to be naive, Shaina.
Rahul, if you let me please conclude. The BJP has one agenda, which is that Narendra Modi ji should be the prime ministerial candidate of this country and become eventually the prime minister with the NDA's support. We have no other agenda other than this. Now, clearly, there is a wave
something called an alliance dharma. The only agenda cannot be to try and push Narendra Modi to power. Is that acceptable, Bharat Kumar Raut, for Shaina NC to say at the start of this program that the only agenda is to ensure that Modi becomes Prime Minister? Do you believe just the overtures and the dalliance with Raj Thackeray is a violation of coalition dharma, Mr. Raut?
Yes. Now let me first clarify that I am here. I'm a Shiv Sena MP for the next few days at least, because my term ends on April 2nd. I am also a journalist and a close watcher of political activities in India in general and in Maharashtra in particular. So I am wearing two caps at yeah. Now what Shaina has been saying, Shaina is a very good friend of mine. She is very articulate and she means what she says. However, let me tell you that what she says and the action that BJP is taking, I think there is a vast difference. If making Narendra Modi the Prime Minister of India is the only and supreme agenda before the BJP, then when the alliance is forged, it has started working. There have been at least 3 meetings of the alliance partners in Maharashtra at various places. After that, what was the necessity of BJP's top leaders? One is Nitin Gadkari, who is the former president, immediate former president, and Gopinath Munde, who is the deputy leader of BJP in Lok Sabha, to go and have a meeting with Raj Thackeray.
Let me ask you some direct questions. So I know that there is an alliance, but that alliance is currently on the rocks. Is the Shiv Sena highly disappointed with the BJP for the manner in which senior BJP leaders are constantly wooing Raj Thackeray and potentially destabilizing the NDA in Maharashtra, Mr. Raut?
Yeah, I do not want to speak because I do not know what Uddhav has been thinking at this moment, because they are still locked in a meeting. But let me tell you, any leader of any political party would definitely get disturbed, worried, concerned and annoyed if your trusted partner with whom you have been doing business for last 25 years, I am saying a political business, for last 25 years, if without your knowledge and consent and information, if those people go and start talking to the opponent of yours in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, and start doing talking business with them, then definitely.
No, I'm glad that you're being forthright and you're telling Shaina what she doesn't want to hear, because Shaina wants us to pretend and believe that there is no problem. You've just heard from a very senior journalist, a member of parliament of the Shiv Sena, that it is natural to be concerned and annoyed. You've got an alliance with Uddhav Thackeray and you go flirting with Raj Thackeray. Naturally, given the tenuous relationship between the two, Uddhav Thackeray is not going to like it. Is this not violation, Shaina, of alliance dharma?
Rahul, I would like to say only this, that the BJP has only one agenda, which is to dethrone this corrupt Congress NCP government that we have, not just in the state of Maharashtra, but also at the centre. Now, what is our agenda? To maximize clearly our seats. We are not in any alliance with the MNS. If X, Y or Z today say that they want to support Narendra Modi ji as Prime Minister of the country, are we going to shun them? Are we going to applaud them, or are we going to embrace
is it as
them?
simple as that? Shaina NC says Raj Thackeray wants to support Modi for Prime Minister, and therefore what can the BJP do? How can they send him away if they wish to support Raj Thackeray, if they wish to support Modi for Prime Minister? Or do you think the BJP is deliberately going and fishing in troubled waters and trying to provoke a face-off between the two estranged brothers? I want to hear from Girish Kuber, please.
Yeah, see, there are two aspects to this issue. Whatever Shaina is saying, it's absolutely right. If Raj Thackeray wants to support, why Shiv Sena should have any problem with Raj Thackera's decision? Number one. Number two, when Shiv Sena talks about what you call the alliance dharma, there are at least half a dozen instances where Shiv Sena itself has broken that dharma. Many cases. You may find Shiv Sena supporting Pratibha Patil against the BJP candidate, Shiv Sena supporting NCP on certain local issues, Shiv Sena having truck with other political parties outside the BJP alliance. And if you look at Shiv Sena's politics, I mean, there are hundreds of reasons one has to have some kind of question, and the biggest question is Shiv Sena's support is, at times it can be thought that it's up for sale. So if the one of the alliance partner, it is not worth not worth basically trustworthy, and if BJP is looking for someone else as a future or prospective
okay, you're turning
partner,
the tables on the Shiv Sena, saying the Shiv Sena has also done this to the BJP in the past. Bharat Kumar Raut, the Pratibha Patil example is a good example where, citing Maratha pride, the Shiv Sena actually backed the Congress nominee and helped her become Prime Minister, despite the fact that the BJP had put up its own candidate. So what's good for you naturally needs to also be good for the BJP, Mr. Raut.
Listen, here I am not talking on behalf of Shiv Sena because that is not my brief. However, let me tell you that in case of Pratibha Patil, as a journalist I am telling you, in case of Pratibha Patil, the case was totally different. Pratibha Patil happened to be from Maharashtra. Shiv Sena is a party of Maharashtra fighting for the welfare and cause of Marathi speaking people. Here the situation is very delicate. Pratibha Patil is a Maharashtrian. She is
contesting. But if coalition dharma is a principle that applies to the BJP, it must equally apply to the Shiv Sena also. You can't go against the BJP when it suits you, because what Shaina NC is essentially saying, Mr. Raut, is this: if Raj Thackeray wants to support Modi to be Prime Minister, what is the BJP to say? Are they to say that no, we don't want your support? How do you respond directly to what Shaina NC is saying, sir?
Rahul, I wish you allow me to complete what I want to talk.
You must, sir.
Then you can say what you want to. Now I'll take your question also. I'll answer to that. Yes, Shaina says that if somebody wants to support Narendra Modi ji, how do we stop them? Yes, logically it is the correct way, but did Raj Thackeray support came on its own, or was it a reaction or response to what Nitin Gadkari had told him? First,
you're absolutely right.
And before that it was
because you're absolutely right. Shaina NC makes it seem as if Raj Thackeray came of his own volition and decided to support Narendra Modi. That's not the way it happened. Nitin Gadkari went, sought his support. That is how this partial support formula emerged. But I want to go across at this time to my colleague Kamlesh Sutar. He's tracking this emergency meeting between BJP leaders and Uddhav Thackeray taking place in Mumbai at this time. Why don't you tell our viewers, Kamlesh, how badly has this disrupt crept into this relationship? And is the alliance on the rocks, or is this just posturing by all three parties? What's your reading of the situation on the ground, Kamlesh?
Well, Rahul, the alliance, the basic thing that has come out of whatever has happened in last 2-3 days is basic lack of trust between these two allies. The problem with Shiv Sena is not that the BJP is flirting with any other party. It's only the problem with Shiv Sena is the BJP is flirting with Raj Thackeray, an offshoot of the Shiv Sena. Both the cousins have not been on talking terms for last 6 to 7 years, ever since Raj Thackeray split from the party. And the main contention between the two has always been the issue of sons of the soil. Both the parties are fighting for the Marathi Manus issue. So eventually the BJP knows, for the BJP it's an opportunity in problem. BJP wants to eat the cake and even have it. They want Raj Thackeray not to eat up into their votes. They don't have any problem with Raj Thackeray fielding candidates against Shiv Sena. They are happy with the fact that Raj Thackeray is at least not eating up into their vote, because last time in 2009, the way Raj Thackeray performed in Mumbai and he had made a dent into the vote of the Shiv Sena BJP alliance, it had affected both the Shiv Sena and BJP. But this time around, the BJP not wanting to take any risk has been cozying up with Raj Thackeray, which did not go down well.
No, but I think you're stating the facts just the way they are. And China, that's something that you need to respond to. It's not as simplistic as Raj Thackeray suddenly coming out of the blue and saying, I love Narendra Modi, I want to support him to be Prime Minister. There were deep overtures made to try and bring Raj Thackeray on board. It's only after that that Raj Thackeray said, I will not field candidates against those put up by the BJP. It didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened because the BJP tried very hard to make it happen. So you are naturally playing on the insecurity of the Shiv Sena, but trying to prop up a threat.
No.
Of course.
No. Rahul, I think that your job is clearly that of an anchor and a journalist to try and create some kind of a controversy. Please let me say there is none. The alliance, which is the BJP, the Shiv Sena and the RPI in the Maha Yuti, is absolutely intact, is absolutely strong, and has only one agenda, which is to dethrone the Congress and the NCP. Now, if you are going to expect me to give a reaction on accord of another political party which is on its own thought process or its own logic chosen to support our prime ministerial candidate, as has the
China
rest
NC,
of
I'm surprised that you're being so facile with the truth, because you know just as well. You know Raj Thackeray probably better than anyone else, and you know fully well that there are several people working behind the scenes trying to pull Raj Thackeray over. It didn't happen in a vacuum. These efforts have been made by several people. Is the BJP, Mr. Girish Kuber, not being very selfish and self-centered when they say we want a clean field against our candidates, but if you want to go and sink the Shiv Sena candidates, do so? Is this not pure play, selfish act by the BJP, Mr. Kuber?
There is nothing. Yeah, absolutely right. There is nothing wrong in BJP's approach. As far as they are concerned, if there is a problem between Raj Thackeray and Uddhav Thackeray, it's their concern. If both of them, by choice or by whatever the situation has forced them, they want to support the BJP, why shouldn't be taking it? Raj Thackeray, in a way, it's definitely looking at a long-term politics where he is trying to grab the whole opposition space, which is being clearly emptied by the BJP's poor politics and Shiv Sena's weak politics. So it's a clear
Mr. Raut, there's a bigger problem here. Mr. Raut, there's a bigger problem. And if I were to look at it from the BJP's perspective, you know the damage that Raj Thackeray's candidates did. From what I remember of the 2009 data, out of the 11 candidates they put up, on 10 seats the Congress won with a victory margin which was lesser than the votes polled by the MNS candidate, which means that they lost primarily because of the Raj Thackeray nominees in the field, which basically means that they sunk you last time. Therefore, the BJP is only being pragmatic by saying, okay, let's try and ensure that the MNS stays away, at least for the Lok Sabha polls. if you were to keep ego aside and look at it from Modi's perspective, he's doing something which is absolutely pragmatic, practical, and which is really the way for him and his party to go. Are they not doing what's best for them? You're being selfish, you're being egoistic, which is why you're not allowing Modi to do this, sir.
Listen,
Mr. Raut.
Here there is much deeper things happening than what meets the eye. Here.
No, what is happening?
If
you must explain this. You can't say there are deeper things happening. You must explain this. What are these deeper things that are happening, sir?
Let me say that,
Yes.
Rahul. Let me say that.
Please, sir, please.
Let me spell it out. In 2009 elections, yes, what you say is right, that in most of the constituencies where MNS had fielded their candidate, Shiv Sena BJP lost because of division of vote. So if Nitin Gadkari had said that yes, you don't field a candidate, that is fine. But what is the reaction? The reaction is that Raj Thackeray has fielded candidates where Shiv Sena is contesting, and barring Pune, he has left the field open for BJP. It means that in the negotiations, what must have been cooked is that if you want to contest against Shiv Sena.
But that's because you are not prepared to do business with him. If you were to leave ego aside and agree to do business with Raj Thackeray and come together in this grand Maratha alliance, then Raj and Uddhav can be together because there is an ego hassle between the both of them. There's a fight for who's supreme. Therefore, you are sinking his fortunes, you are sinking MNS's fortunes, and you're splitting the Maratha vote. If all of them were to come together in a grand alliance, the Congress and the NCP would be in trouble. Is that not a fair position from the BJP's perspective, sir?
Rahul, I think you are playing a role of an anchor and not of a writing editorial. What you are talking is you are writing editorial. You are commenting. I don't think that as
some questions China NC didn't like, some questions not liking. I'm asking a question. I'm surely entitled to do that, sir.
And in between, you are editorializing the whole thing. That is not correct. That is not fair.
Rahul, you're maneuvering the debate the way you want it to be.
I'm asking questions. Now we see BJP Shiv Sena come together against the poor anchor. That I will not allow. But I'm asking a question. Mr. Rao, the question is this, that if Uddhav Thackeray were to leave ego on the side, if he were to leave ego on the side, be practical, work with his estranged brother, would that not be better for the entire NDA, Mr. Rao?
Let me complete the answer. Now, will you allow me to complete?
Yes, sir, of course.
Will you allow me to complete?
Go on, I'm waiting for you, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, go on, we can hear you fine. Go on, complete your argument.
Yeah, I was not getting you. Here the question is, if the goal of all three, Shiv Sena, BJP and MNS, is common, that if Modi has to be made the Prime Minister, then wasn't it natural that MNS should have come in the alliance? That those efforts were done by BJP earlier, but MNS did not come on board. After that, when BJP said that now that issue is over, and after that five parties came together and we formed the Grand Alliance. After the seat sharing was done, most of the seats are announced. After that, if BJP top leaders go and have secret meetings without the knowledge
correct that a grand alliance has already been formed, and after that the BJP is trying to secure its interests even further. I have a final question to Girish Kuber. Is there a possibility, because Uddhav Thackeray, regardless of what is being said right now, is rattled by this flirtation between the BJP and Raj Thackeray. Raj Thackeray has already in public said he thinks Modi is a good man to be Prime Minister. Is there a threat that as the MNS gathers strength and Uddhav's leadership already is under a whole slew of questions, going forward, there may be a scenario where the BJP dumps the Shiv Sena in favor of the rising ascendant force, which is the MNS? Is that a possibility at all, Mr. Kuber?
It's absolutely, there is every chance of it happening in Maharashtra for two reasons. The first is that when even Bal Thackeray was alive, when Shiv Sena was at its peak, it couldn't perform. The maximum it could get was in 1995, that too along with the BJP. So when Shiv Sena is losing its power, when you have Shiv Sena, one of the alliance partner with its winning power, and someone with the rising star as smart as MNS, it's every chance, every possibility that BJP is looking towards.
Let me put that
MNS
question
as a
to
future
Kamlesh
partner,
Sutar.
because-
He's someone whose political instincts in Maharashtra I trust a lot. Kamlesh, is there a possibility that going forward the BJP may decide? Now there's also a Gopinath Munde, Nitin Gadkari angle at play, because Munde is very close to the Shiv Sena. Gadkari has a better leg-in with Raj Thackeray, that going forward the Shiv Sena might be outed from this alliance, and there's a bigger embrace between the MNS and the BJP in the calculation that Raj Thackeray is the force for the future.
Well, certainly the BJP has been toying with this idea, and even when Balasaheb Thackeray was alive, BJP leaders were always worried about the big brotherly attitude of the Shiv Sena, and they've always tried to come out of the clutches of Shiv Sena's big brotherly attitude. Now, somewhere down the line, BJP now sees a ray of hope in the form of MNS, wherein if an alliance forms, it's hypothetically if an alliance is formed with the MNS, the BJP can play a bigger role in Maharashtra.
Mr. Raut, are you concerned about that possibility that right now Shiv Sena is the big brother in the alliance? The BJP can inverse that equation by saying thank you Uddhav, welcome Raj.
Yes, what Girish has been saying and what Sutar is saying, there is a room to believe. Rather, as a journalist, I believe that the way BJP has started marching after the Lok Sabha elections, there would be active moves to bring in Raj Thackeray in their side, and perhaps Raj Thackeray, BJP and Republican Party, they will come together and they will dictate their terms to Shiv Sena on whether you want to join the front or not.
What you're saying is very significant. The first official confirmation from anyone in the Shiv Sena about the serious possibility that there could be an entire split. China NC, you must answer before I conclude. An alliance is like a marriage. You've clearly got one partner very rattled. You may dismiss it, you may not like it, but what we are hearing from the Shiv Sena is deeply worrying. Your longest standing ally feeling that they've been used and dumped.
No. Rahul, I think you're maneuvering the debate both ways to get reactions which sound
because I'm
very
on neither side. I'm not maneuvering the debate, I'm asking the questions that need to be asked to both the leaders. Answer my specific question. For the first time we've seen Shiv Sena. One second, don't berate me. Answer my question. There's clearly a real threat that you could dump Uddhav Thackeray for Raj Thackeray in a longer term perspective. That has the Shiv Sena very concerned. Just answer this straight question. I'm also out of time.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We have an alliance which stands and holds for the past 20 odd years. We are very, very comfortable in our alliance space and our vote bank that realizes that this is a vote for a mandate on leadership, on stability and on progress.
Well,
and if
there
you
are two or
want
three
that, you need
things
to vote for the BJP
that China said. China began this broadcast by saying that our main mission, our main agenda is to ensure that Modi becomes Prime Minister come what may. Is that a violation of the coalition dharma to have BJP leaders assiduously woo Raj Thackeray, unsettle Uddhav Thackeray, given especially the interplay between the both of them and the rivalry they've had for the last several years? We don't wish to take sides. We've asked the questions that needed to be asked to the both of them. The MNS chose not to come on this broadcast. Kamlesh Sutar, Mr. Girish Kuber, Bharat Kumar Raut and China NC for joining us in the first part of Center Stage tonight. Thank you very much. We've got breaking news coming in. There seems to be trouble brewing within the Aam Aadmi Party. Senior leaders Kumar Vishwas and Shazia Ilmi are upset with the manner in which Arvind Kejriwal is running the party and in which tickets have been allocated for the Lok Sabha elections. Joining me for more on this, my colleague Anjana Kashyap. Anjana, what is the latest? You've been speaking to these people. What are they saying? Why are they upset? Anjana, can you hear me? Okay, the story that we have at this time is that there is a deep dissent building within the Aam Aadmi Party. Senior leaders have actually been saying that they are upset with the way tickets have been allocated. They're upset, and we've now seen Shazia Ilmi come out and publicly say that she will not contest from Raebareli. There was an attempt being made within the Aam Aadmi Party to ensure that Shazia would contest from Raebareli. She's now, and I spoke to her this morning, she's made it abundantly clear she will not contest from Raebareli. Both Kumar Vishwas and Shazia Ilmi are upset with the way People like Ashutosh and Ashish Khaitan have been given tickets. Anjana Om Kashyap can now listen to me. Anjana, why are these senior leaders who've been part of the Aam Aadmi Party from the beginning so upset with the way tickets have been allocated? What's their problem?
Their problem is this. They are the ones who took all the lathis on their back. They are the ones who were out on the streets doing the Andolan. What they feel, Rahul, is that the man who was supposed to challenge Rahul Gandhi faces a challenge within the party. He feels that if people like Ashutosh or Ashish Khaitan come by parachute jumping, these were terms that were used for the Congress before. And that is the very thing, the very term that is being used for Aam Aadmi Party now. They are very, very upset that people from outside, just because they have a certain name and the winnability factor. The winnability factor is being taken care of so much. Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party want to win. This is their problem. And this is what Kumar Vishwas or these few other leaders who have been since the beginning think. They think that just because these
leaders I also spoke to, Anjana, said that they would consider leaving the party. One of them had a long meeting with Arvind Kejriwal this morning, a meeting lasting for more than 3 hours, where she expressed her unhappiness with the way tickets were being given. She said that these MLAs have been calling her, complaining about Ashutosh and Ashish Khaitan being given these tickets. Is that a real possibility, or is that just posturing, where they're saying we're unhappy, we're fed up, we want to just give up the party, or is that just trying to make their voice heard, Anjana?
I think it's not just posturing anymore, because there had been discontent even before, if you remember, when the whole Somnath Bharti issue came up and there was this question that the party and the women within the party are not being given importance. There was a lot of rumor about probably Shazia Ilmi not liking it very much. But then she chose to remain silent. This time, if Kumar Vishwas chooses to tweet and say something against his own party, it means that these people are actually on the border right now, Rahul. I feel they're actually bordering on taking a decision, and that decision can go anyway. To the extent that they would, Kumar Vishwas feels that I am a poet, I can make my life, and these are his words. He feels that even if the time comes and need
Have you
be,
heard from Arvind Kejriwal on what their response is? Are they accepting that there is a rift? Very clearly there is. It's now out in the public domain. You're citing a tweet as well. Is there an attempt being made to try and ensure that the damage is contained, Anjana?
No, not as of now. Not as of now, Rahul. Not as of now. I think Arvind Kejriwal or the other parties are going to get into damage control once they see the being aired. Number two, like what happened in Binni, probably they will downplay it, because we expected honesty and new politics out of this party, but it has failed on that front completely. And as of now,
but one of the problems seems to be that the primaries that they promised have actually not been held. They said that there would be proper primaries where workers will get to decide who contests, and then these workers feel that people like Ashutosh, people like Ashish Khaitan, who've done no work in the area, have been given preference. But why is this happening? Why are these parachute candidates being allowed to come in the first place, Anjana?
I think it's the winnability factor or the celeb factor, because this is what these people think. They think that probably the celeb factor is getting them so much of importance, to the extent that in my conversation I realized that these people were saying that even if 80% of the workers at the root level were convinced that okay, go with Ashish Khaitan's candidature, we would be okay with it. But that's not happening. You're not talking to your people, you're not talking to the workers who work at the root level, and that can be a problem. What got them 28 seats in Delhi, Rahul? It was just those workers who were ready to stay away from home for months and then just go and go house to house, door to door and campaign for them. If that entire network of workers is lost, then it's going to be a very difficult situation. And the man who's gone to challenge Rahul Gandhi feels exactly this. He feels that the workers are being...
This is a big problem for Arvind Kejriwal. He promised his party would be different. His party would be far more equal in the opportunities that all leaders are given. Kumar Vishwas and Shazia Ilmi clearly don't feel that way. They are upset. The story's been doing the round since the morning. We've put it out on Center Stage this evening. This is the first that you've heard of it. Anjana and her entire team at TV Today will be tracking the story very, very closely. And I'm sure you'll hear reactions from Arvind Kejriwal and his team. There's a gang, there's a coterie that Kumar Vishwas and Shazia Ilmi believe have taken over this party. They believe that these people are the ones taking decisions, going over the head of all other leaders, and they are making their displeasure public. Thank you very much for joining us, Anjana, with that breaking story on Center Stage this evening. We'll track this story further when we come back with India Reports. But I want to move on our broadcast this evening. The desperate search for the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777-200 has expanded, with latest reports indicating that the aircraft flew for over an hour after losing contact with the radar. Curiously, the aircraft altered its course and flew towards the very crowded Malacca Straits before disappearing from the face of this earth, or so it seems. On day 4, there's very little evidence yet, and yet many theories about what happened to the ill-fated MH370.
It is one of the most baffling mysteries in recent aviation history. A massive search operation for the Malaysia Airlines Boeing 777-200ER now in its 4th day. So far, no trace of the aircraft. Military sources claim they have tracked a missing jetliner by radar over the Strait of Malacca, far from where it last made contact with civilian air traffic control off the country's east coast, but no confirmation yet. Meanwhile, Malaysia identified the stolen passport holders travelling to Frankfurt and Copenhagen, but have managed to identify only one of them. Adding that 19-year-old Puria Noor Mohammed, who is believed to be trying to illegally migrate to Germany, is highly unlikely to be part of a terror outfit.
You know, we're in the 21st century where even this pen, this phone, myself, all of us can be tracked through latest satellite imaging, and you have a full-bodied plane which virtually disappears from the face of the earth, and 4 days later there is no concrete evidence of where this plane could possibly be. Is it a hijack? Are those people alive? There are reports coming in that some of those calls have actually been ringing, the phones are still buzzing. Where are these people? Why is no one being able to get in touch with them? And if indeed the plane has crashed, then why is there no debris? There are several questions I want to introduce. We've got experts from every field. And just to try and get an aviation sense, we've got former Air Marshal A.K. Singh, former Commander-in-Chief of the Western Air Command; Kanu Gohain, one of the most respected voices in civil aviation, former DGCA, joining us on this broadcast. Also with us, A.K. Verma, former RAW Chief, and we've got G.J. Singh, Commodore from the Indian Navy. I want to go across first to Kanu Gohain because you understand aviation and avionics best. 4 days have lapsed. There are fits and spurts of reports coming out, but as I went into this broadcast, I saw all the international wires. Nobody had a definite sighting. It's almost as if 4 days later, this plane has flown off the face of the earth. Where could it have gone, sir?
Rahul, it's like this. Whenever there is such a missing aircraft reported, the first source is from the radar or from the ATC transcripts, which gives the last point at which the aircraft was. Now, if you see, the aircraft was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing on a north-northeasterly direction, and after takeoff it is for some time over the water. Then it goes into the land of Vietnam and Laos before again entering a water mass, and then from Hong Kong straight overland to Beijing. As I understand, it is about a 6 hours flight, and somewhere in between, the midpoint, as per the media reports, the aircraft lost contact. Now, in the aircraft, there are two items which triggers off whenever there is such a crash. One is the what we call ELT, the emergency location transmitter, which on impact sends out a signal. In case it goes into the water, then there are the flight recorders. They have what we call ULBs, the underwater locator beacons. They get activated with salt water and then they transmit signal. It is surprising that neither the ELT signal nor the flight recorders ULBs are emitting signal to be captured by the search planes or the search
but what do you
Navy.
think with all your experience happened? You are explaining to me the systems that exist, but for people watching this broadcast, what's most baffling is that none of those systems have fired. There is no trace yet of where this plane could have gone. How can all these systems collectively malfunction, sir?
No, I'm not going to that point, Rahul, but remember one thing, has the search, we do not know how the search patterns are, being carried out, but has this search gone into the dense jungles of Vietnam and Laos? You see, that's another area.
Sure, but I want to bring in also Air Force Officer AK Singh. Now, Air Marshal, I'd like to understand from you, even if it's gone into a jungle, let's assume for a moment that is true, with the sort of satellite imaging that we have nowadays, would not some of those satellites have picked out some trace of debris, even if this were in the jungles of Laos, Vietnam, or where have you? So what are you making of this mystery?
Absolutely correct, Rahul. You have hit the nail on the head. I would like to add here to what Gohen has been speaking about. If you look at it, there are transponders in the aircraft which are secondary. They'll get triggered in case the radars are available. But more importantly, from Malaysia, which has air defense radars, these are active radars and they do not depend on any transponders, etc. So they should have picked up this aircraft because it is flying at 35,000 feet. So should have Vietnam radars. It is all the more mysterious because Boeing 777 is equipped with a system known as ACARS, wherein the engineers at the base monitor its flight pattern and more importantly all its parameters. Had it entered weather then or crashed because of weather, it would have registered on their meters. It has not. Then Vietnam air defense system is a very, very strong system. I can understand if an ATC radar doesn't pick it up, but an air defense radar will 100% pick it up. So the mystery becomes all the more deep. No. If the pilots have committed suicide, which has happened in 3 other cases earlier, then one would like to still find out where the debris lies. And as you've said, the satellites, there are plethora of satellites, not only American satellites, Russian
there are
satellites,
American satellites, there are Russian satellites, there are Indian satellites. We've got 9 navies in the sea trying to find any trace of the debris. The oil slick which was found belonged to some other vessel.
Yes.
So now, what do you think is happening? How are you looking at it from a naval perspective, Commander?
You see, first of all, I would say that when the aircraft is 30 to 35,000 feet high flying, it is always in touch with the ATC radio.
No,
control is always there.
The Air Marshal are dealing with that. You deal with the naval aspects.
No, naval aspect is that if the aircraft explodes mid-air, its debris should fall somewhere on the surface of the sea.
No, but clearly that's not happened, because if it had, we would have seen the debris and one of the vessels would have spotted it.
And this remains an unprecedented mystery to date. We do not know what has happened. Even if there was an emergency, for example, hydraulic failure, or it is fire on board, or some malfunction of some electrical system and all that, the crew is trained to cope up with this kind of emergency, and they should report to the ATC.
No,
we don't know.
I want to understand.
We don't know.
From an intelligence agency perspective, Mr. Verma, is there a possibility that the plane could have been hijacked and taken somewhere, the radars turned off, taken into an area which doesn't have good radar coverage? I still don't understand how it will be away from satellite imaging, but is there a possibility that these 239 odd people on board could have been hijacked by terrorists?
I'm quite certain that that possibility cannot be ruled out. And something like what happened on 9/11, planes being hijacked and not being found out by ATCs till...
But that happened instantaneously. That happened within minutes. You've now had 4 days for the latest technology of all the armies and navies of the world not being able to spot these.
Your question is whether it could be a hijack.
Yes.
And I'm saying it could very well be.
Where would they go?
That's what I'm trying to answer. The hijackers diverted the plane, or the plane got diverted because there was a scuffle in the cockpit and the plane was no longer under the control of the pilots. So it became unpiloted plane, and therefore it turned left 90 degrees into an area where it was not destined to move over the peninsular land. It crosses that, and apparently it fell into the sea.
No, if it had fallen into the sea, it brings me back to the first question, where is the debris? So what I want is 4 top experts from different fields, starting with the Air Marshal, to explain what do you think happened, sir? On the basis of all the information currently in the public domain, Air Marshal Singh, what do you think could have possibly happened to this ill-fated airline MH370?
Yeah, Rahul, I would like to just explain here is that the possibility of the pilots not having time enough to make either a distress call or indicate to the ground controls that they are being hijacked is very, very not possible, because
Why do you
it
say
is
that,
an
sir?
instantaneous no, because it is instantaneously you can press a button and you will make the whole world aware that what is happening.
So unless
you
somebody
cannot
comes
have
and
a
points
radio
a gun at your
communication.
head and doesn't allow you to press the emergency button, that could be one possibility. Do you also believe what Mr. Verma is saying, that there is a possibility, real threat that this plane could have been hijacked, sir?
See, the moment a door is being opened, the door cannot, even if it is an air hostess opening the door, the procedure is that the pilot always has his hands close to the throttles where the buttons are located. You just have to press it with one finger. Now when you do that, you are emitting a signal. Whosoever has got a gun on your head will not know what.
So what do you think happened? What is your best guess?
No, my best guess is that there has been a sudden explosion probably in the cockpit area, and then the aircraft has not disintegrated as one would expect it to from 35,000 feet. Because what is surprising me is that Malaysian Airlines does not have the ACARs online. If that is one particular equipment on this aircraft, which was, if used, would have told you that there have been certain changes.
So what do you
in the
think
aircraft
happened? I want to
parameters.
understand from you, what do you think happened? You've ruled out a couple of possibilities, but what's the possibility you're building up towards?
No, I am saying the possibility I am building towards is that the pilots were incapacitated and there have been multiple failures in terms of communication failure. The ACAR still would be functioning. Why, if the ACARs were not available, then it's a different ball game, because you have not switched them on or you are not operating. All Boeing 777s are equipped with it at the time of manufacture. If it is not functioning or it has not been in the airline's interest to keep it going, then it may so happen that there have been a case like Mr. Verma was talking of, where the pilots have been incapacitated, maybe due to propulsion of gas.
Those planes, Mr. Verma, went missing for a few minutes before they banged into the trade towers, twin towers, right? Now there are tickets for two people who used stolen Italian and Austrian passports that were bought on Thursday in Thailand, according to the ticketing records. Now, how much importance would you give, if you were investigating this case, to the mystery of the two passports, and could these people possibly be involved in an attempted hijacking, if there were to be one?
A great deal of credibility to this theory, because if two people are traveling on forged passports, there is a whole organization behind them. You can't get forged passports just like that. You need finances also to travel. And the very fact that the passports are forged indicates that some mischief is intended.
No, but this could just be like there is in India an operation to try and whisk people away to Europe ultimately on a forged passport. It happens in India, it's called kabutarbazi, I think. It happens in India all the time.
No, they don't have forged passports necessarily. They have their own passports, but ways are found for their infiltration.
What's your best guess in terms of what could have happened?
In terms of the best guess, I would say that it couldn't be an explosion, as the Air Marshal was trying to suggest, because had there been an explosion, the debris would have been scattered all which would have been noticed. So the thing happened without there being any control of anyone over the plane and the direction it was flying. And that was only, if this scenario is the right scenario, that means the pilots had been completely debilitated, they had been totally overpowered, and there was a scuffle.
Where did the plane go?
There was a scuffle, and the plane just flew on its own for some time. And then it fell down.
No, but if wherever it fell, there'd be debris there. We haven't found that debris.
Those discoveries may be discovered a little later.
Okay, I want to understand from the Commodore.
See, these days the methods of terrorism are also changing very fast.
What do you think happened?
Now, as these two gentlemen who boarded the ship with forged passports, aircraft with forged passports, they probably knew how to fly. Once they overpowered the crew, they took the control of it, but they could not cope up with the systems of this aircraft, because you need conversion. And ultimately, they probably managed to land on water. Once they land on water, now they don't know the operations, the aircraft will not remain afloat. The flooding took place as one piece. The aircraft went down and sat on the bottom.
No, but Kanu Goen, is it possible for a pilot? We've seen it happen in the United States, but that was one of the very skilled pilots who was able to land despite despite the wheels getting hurt, despite the wheels being damaged. He was able to land in the lake,
river.
right? In the river, Houston River, from what
New
I know.
York River.
Yes, but is that possible with two
Hudson River?
Hudson River, correct? Is that possible with two pilots with much lesser experience, sir? Kanu Goen?
Not, it is not possible, Rahul. So in this investigation, one has to follow the elimination process.
Yes.
I do not say that all these possibilities are wrong. No. In an investigation process, these possibilities are examined and eliminated. But the crux of the whole issue is why the debris has not been located till now. And if it is on land, certainly there would not only a debris, there would have been an explosion, there would have been a fire.
So what's your best guess, sir?
If the debris falls, my best guess, the aeroplane has crashed. Now it is more than 72 hours. It is sad that so many lives have been lost. And the search and rescue operation should concentrate now on determining the positioning of the wreckage. The same thing happened, Rahul, if you allow me. When our Kanishka went down, it just vanished out of the radar screen. But how we
that was many years ago with much lesser technology at our disposal. The situation on the ground has changed completely since. The sort of avionics you have, the sort of technology, the sort of satellite imagery has completely changed the dynamics between that explosion and now, Mr. Goen.
Technology has to be matched with logic. Now the point which I am trying to make, yes, that was the old case. We didn't have this satellite technology. Today we have the satellite technology. Rightly said, even India's satellite is up also, but these are communication satellites. Now the Chinese have, I am told from the media report, that they have launched or set 10 satellites to search on this wreckage, whether it is on the sea or into the sea or onto the land mass. So let us hope that the search comes out with position of the wreckage, and then retrieval of the wreckage, we can analyze all this facts.
Okay, we're out of time on this broadcast. We've heard from all our experts. We don't have any final answers yet. You've heard the theories from all our experts. This is really one of the most baffling stories and incidents that we've seen.
Mystery
where a
in
plane
aviation
goes missing for 4 days and we still don't know whether this is a terror attack, a crash, and in what circumstances that crash happened. Our thoughts and prayers with the families of those who were on board MH370 in the hope that maybe, just maybe they're alive. We don't know if they're dead. Therefore, there's a hope that they're still alive.
Quite right.
Let's build and let's have that hope and let's keep that hope alive till the time something else is found out to be true.